you.
Chris Bledsoe is a brand new UFO video, and I'm going to show it to you today, as well as another video from last month to give you some comparison. Because apparently Chris Bledsoe got a brand new camera, so everything from here on out should be a lot more crisp and clear, right? Now, who is Chris Bledsoe? He is the author of this book right here. It's called UFO of God. Coincidentally, it is going to be made into a movie. I, for one, am looking forward to that. So, before we get to this video that I'm going to show you of this orb that he encountered, I do want to explain that I got these videos from Ryan Bledsoe on his Twitter. Now, Chris had released them on his Instagram, but I did get these from Ryan Bledsoe, who is his son, right, on Twitter. And coincidentally, Ryan Bledsoe actually hosts his own podcast. It's called Bledsoe Said So. I gotta admit, love the name. I'll put a link in the description. Please go check out the podcast. Now, let's get to this first video, right? This is, again, Chris Bledsoe filming an orb that he might have summoned, probably did. That's kind of, you know, his thing, right? So let's take a look.
Come on, go still. Man, I'm in a bad way. I'm squatting, trying to hold this camera. It's nearly straight over my head. I gotta get still. I couldn't stand like that any longer. Look. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Come on, still. Oh, I was holding my breath, breathing.
I mean, I gotta admit, it's a pretty fascinating video. Now, some people I saw in the comments were saying that this was potentially the International Space Station, but I don't know. All right, you can decide for yourself what you think. Now, let's take a look at another video that he released last month for comparison. Again, before he got his new camera, because I love this new crisp footage. It's way, way better. I agree. So here we go. This is Chris Bledsoe from last month, August 2024, so you can see the comparison.
Yeah. It's really amazing because of the connection. This is November 8th, and it's like really bright, and I've got to try to stay on it. It's the top of my shed right there. Thank you. Wow. It is really bright. Not very high either. I mean, it just appeared. Look, check that out. Wow. You saw that? That's the spirit. Yeah. That was an orb that flew by, excited there. Did a big S curve. Thank you. My hair, my body just gets electrified with their presence. And it came right on right when I raised my hand and asked. What a beautiful thing. November 8th.
Some of you may be thinking, yeah, that's definitely the ISS, right? The International Space Station. And it could very well be. I don't know. Again, you decide. But I will say I find this interesting. This next clip I'm going to show you. Chris Bledsoe was a guest on the Danny Jones podcast, right? And which I've covered before. But I've got a clip here to show you about these orbs and how they've interacted with him and his family. And they've, according to Chris Bledsoe and his family, they have left behind physical evidence, right? So what do I mean? You know what? Let me just play the clip and you can see.
What is this photo right here we're looking at?
That far, if you look at Christopher, that's Chris Jr., if you look at his left shoulder behind him where the woods are, that's where I had the encounter with the 3-foot being.
Oh, really?
Yep. And that's where they landed. The orbs landed in my yard. You can see this circle here is 2 years old. The grass still not growing. Wow. It killed the grass, except for a little donut in the middle. And those streaks you see behind him are where 2 other orbs came from different directions and scooted along the ground, burning the grass until they sat down and created their circle. So there were 3 of those circles in the yard.
So there you go, right? A picture showing that the grass has been discolored. I don't know. It doesn't look burnt, but it does look discolored. Almost like if you were ever sprayed bleach on grass before, that's what it does, right? It just sort of kills it, but doesn't like burn it. Or when dogs actually urinate on the grass, that also happens. In fact, that's why some people don't want dogs urinating in their grass, because it leaves these little spots like that. But it is donut shaped. It is huge, right? And they're claiming that these orbs left that behind, right? Now, what sort of energy that those orbs had that would do that to the grass, I don't know, right? I do find that interesting, and they are providing evidence, right? And apparently that, incident, or whatever we're going to call it, was investigated by MUFON. So, take that for what you will, right? So, I don't know. It's very interesting. The Chris Bledsoe story in and of itself is fascinating, and I highly recommend checking out that full interview on the Danny Jones podcast. I'm pretty sure it's the best Chris Bledsoe interview as far as I'm concerned that I've seen. So I highly recommend it. Okay, so there you have it, y'all. You've seen both videos, showed you this clip from Danny Jones. You can make up your own mind of what you think of these videos and Chris Bledsoe. Now, I will say, for full transparency, I did reach out to Ryan Bledsoe to see if he wanted to come on the show, because at this point, Chris Bledsoe is not doing interviews, at the moment. Yes, that's what I've heard. So anyway, would I love to have him on? Of course. But I did, send out an invitation to Ryan Bledsoe. So if you see this, Ryan, would love to have you on the show, man, and talk about some of this stuff. Very cool, very interesting. The vetted audience would love to hear from you. So, all right, y'all. We'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. I have some bangers coming out this week, y'all. You have no idea. And one last thing before we go. Something dear to my heart that I wanted to bring up. There's a fellow content creator named Tom, goes by Cortex Zero. He's got a UFO podcast. I've interacted with him on Twitter before, and really great guy, and I never do this, okay, on the show. I've brought up one GoFundMe before on the show. That's it. And the entire time I've done this, right, for one of my moderators, Jessica, and her daughter to go on a track and field trip. I probably just screwed that all up. But regardless, my point is I don't do this very often. But when I feel it's necessary, that we need to help each other out, I'm going to do it. So with that said, I'm going to share some links below to Tom, because he needs some help. Right now, apparently, his computer is shot. It's gone. And if he can't get a new one, he won't be able to do the UFO podcast that he does anymore. And he's honestly, just again, like I said, a very genuine, nice guy who works really hard and is just trying to do his best. And I thought, well, maybe there's someone in the vetted audience. If some of y'all want to help feel free to, maybe even just share the link, right, and get other people to maybe donate. I donated some money, and I saw other people donating money. So if we can help Tom get to that goal that he needs to get this new computer, that would be awesome, right? So, let's see what we can do, vetters, right? Again, if you can help, that would be great. If you can't, totally understand. But again, I'll put links in the description. Please go check that out and see what you could do. So, hey, we got to look out for each other, y'all, right? All right. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace!
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep.